Hey, my lovelies, it's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do our 2026 Tarot Scope video. So, going to have a look at the whole year ahead. So, Happy New Year. I know we're not quite there yet when I'm recording this. I'm on sort of New Year's Eve recording this, but I wanted to get this done just because I think it's important. These Tarot Scope videos help so many people, and a lot of people, a lot of my clients have said to me, even if they haven't had direct readings, they've tapped back into my videos throughout the year to just sort of see. So I think it's important to do, and I love to sort of do these for you guys because I feel this is a way of gifting back as well if you're not in a position to have a personal reading, because not everybody is, you know? So I always decide a deck that I'm going to work with for the year ahead. I was hoping there was going to be one ready, but it's not quite ready. Like that person knows who there is. I'm pointing at you, but hopefully that will be ready soon and I'll be able to promote that as and when that comes out. No pressure. It's only been like 3 or 4 years in the making. Just saying. like, but I thought this would be a really good opportunity to promote my own deck because I never promote my own stuff that much, really. So I thought I'm going to. So this year I'm going to work with my deck, which is the Guided Pause Tarot. And I'm so pleased with this deck. This is such a cool deck. Not just saying it's cool because I made it, it's one I would want even if it wasn't made by me. And what's cool with this deck is it's all in aid for, I don't know if you can see the logo there, but Somerset and Dorset Animal Rescue Centre. So anybody that purchases one of these decks, half the profits per deck go to the charity direct. And Somerset and Dorset Animal Rescue Centre are an amazing, primarily dog charity that do so much good work rescuing dogs, rehoming dogs and other animals, cats as well, and different things, but primarily dogs, and just giving them a better quality of life. So this deck is available to purchase via my website. It's £45. It's also available to purchase in Carpe Noctem in Froome. And I think it's in some of the other places as well. I want to say it's in Rowan's Closet, Swindon, or it has been in there. If there's any copies left, Colour and Crystals in Trowbridge. So yeah, it's a really, really cool deck, and I am proud of this one. And a few people have asked me, was the artwork created by AI? I personally am not a huge fan of AI. That's not to sort of be detrimental to anybody that uses it because it does have its place. But for me personally, I don't really like AI. And I can guarantee you all the imagery was done via myself and using Photoshop, Canva, and a couple of other editing programs, and it took bloody ages. So I can 100% hands up say this deck is not AI. Um, so these are the cards. I have already sort of knocked and shuffled them and got them ready just because we've got 12 to do, 12 months to look at. So it's an interesting sort of scope. I know that we keep saying 2026 is the year of the horse. And a lot of people are saying it's going to be victorious in many ways. And I do feel, as a collective, 2026 is going to be a really exciting time. What I want to remind you guys of is this particular reading is a collective look. So do remember that I can do obviously more impersonal readings. I can go deeper with obviously reads if you decide to purchase and have your own 12-month tarot spread, because that will look exactly at the energy going on with you. So this is looking at things on a more collective level, because I've had one or two people say to me in the past, oh, that didn't play out exactly like that. But this is a collective reading. This is looking at the energy as a collective group. But if you're wanting a more personalized reading, it's always encouraged and preferable to obviously purchase your own 12-month sort of deck, which these are available via my shop page of website if you want to do that and have your own 12-month cycle. So let's have a little look. Let's see what's happening. And what we'll do afterwards is we'll follow through with a conclusion, Witch's Rune, just to round the reading up in a beautiful way. So let's do this. You guys ready? I'm ready. I'm cool. I just want to have a quick swig of my drink. I'm really bad. I'm having Pepsi Max. It's a little bit more healthy, but yeah, bear with me. Okay, let's do this. So, as we're going into January, we're going into the Three of Bowls. Now, This made me laugh so much. Three of bowls in conventional tarot, it would be the same as the three. Sorry, three of bowls in this tarot would be a three of cups in more conventional tarot. And three of bowls, three of cups is party time. It's having some fun. It's letting your hair down. It's connecting with great people that maybe you haven't seen for a while, or maybe you're planning to see very soon. Maybe there are big birthdays coming up. And it's just a chance for everybody to have some fun, to get together and to really just enjoy each other's company. The reason I'm laughing at this is because I have a big birthday that some of you guys know about, some of you may don't, but I'm going to be 40 on the 19th of January, and I'm having a little bit of a cheeky gathering with some beautiful friends and people that are very important and very close to my heart. So, yeah, this is going to be cool for me on a personal level. And I just think, yeah, this is a time to just really embrace. It's a time to celebrate. I do feel like last year, a lot of people are saying to me from like readings and sort of from catching up with people, they didn't get much time for this. They didn't get a huge amount of socializing time. They didn't get a whole amount of time to really connect. And maybe if you sort of felt like you overlooked people or you missed out on having some social time or some connection time, maybe that's being really encouraged throughout January time. I always see three of bowls or three of cups as also intention setting. So three is a very powerful number in terms of manifesting. So it may also be that some of you are being encouraged to really manifest and put out what you truly want to sort of receive. But it's high vibe energy, it's good times, it's heart centered energy, and it's just having some fun with the people that add value, the people that matter. So whether you're going to birthdays, if there are other types of celebration, there could be weddings, hand fastings, other types of gatherings that bring people together. Maybe just a good old catch up with people you've not seen for a while. But having some fun and making some memories. I really want to say January time is going to be about making some memories as well. So it feels cool, it feels good. So I'm excited for that, definitely. Now then, as we're sort of moving forward, we're moving into our February time. And February feels like it's going to be pretty cool as well, if I can get the card off the table. So February, we're going into the Three of Balls. Balls in this deck is the equivalent to Pentacles in more conventional tarot. So this is usually positive changes or progressions around finance. So it comes in a lot with work, career. Perhaps some of you are going to be enrolling in new roles in February. Maybe there are going to be promotions or a step up the ladder. Maybe there's going to be an opportunity to do something that's completely different, completely out of your comfort zone, but it's going to be healthy, it's going to be very rewarding. But it's all about being able to access more of that kind of ball or pentagram energy, or pentacle, sorry, energy. So there's wealth, there's abundance. That doesn't mean you're going to be rich beyond your wildest dreams, but there is a feeling of progression and moving up the ladder. Some of you may just decide you're going to go into new roles, new kind of job changes, and certainly by February time, if that's not already being sort of celebrated, it's going to be really highlighted that things are coming good, things are paying off. For those of you that work more in a self-employed way, maybe you're just going to see a really good return. Maybe there's going to be some sort of real great new waves coming in, whether it's working with clients, new projects, new ideas, new skills that can sort of further a business forward. It just feels like an abundant time financially. And again, that theme of three continues. So it's manifesting, it's putting out, and it's bringing, it's attracting back what we've been sort of intention setting. So it does feel really exciting. I really love in this card all the white roses around the sort of little dog, because that really to me represents there's peace with this, there's progression, there's excitement, there's something positive, but there's also peace prevailing with this a little bit as well. So definitely pretty exciting stuff. Now then, as we're moving into March, March is going to really feel good for you guys, because we're moving into, sorry, these are sticking to the table a little bit here. It's quite hard to get them up. March takes us into the space of the Nine of Balls. Nine of Balls, Nine of Pentacles. It's living in wealth. It's living in abundance. There's this real in-heart abundance, but it's going to ripple out financially. Again, not necessarily saying you're going to be rich beyond your wildest dreams, but you are definitely going to sort of have a wave of financial freedom. So if you've been feeling the pinch, if things have been a bit uncomfortable, if just financially you haven't been in the most comfortable or best of places, things are going to calm, things are going to improve, things are going to chill out a little bit for you. And it's going to allow you to really stop and appreciate the beauty, the value, the essence of life around you. What I love with this dog is they're chilling in all the greenery. You know, they've got all those balls around them, they've got everything that they need, but they're actually stopping to just chill and have some fun, have some downtime. So I think it's going to be a little bit of an appreciation of how far you've come, even though we're only going to be in March at this stage, but it's a stop and it's an appreciation and feeling a bit more kind of comfortable, just a bit more grounded, just having the footing of everything a bit more in place. So again, like, you know, around career and jobs and just the way that you live financially, you're going to start to feel that things are a bit more comfortable if they've been a bit complicated. Now then, as we're sort of moving into our April time, April takes us into a little bit of a curveball. Nothing hugely bad, but I think something that maybe just comes in as a bit of a safety check, a bit of a safety scan as we're moving into that change of seasons as well with April time. So we've got the Ten of Sticks. Sticks in this deck would be the equivalent to the wands in more conventional tarot. Now, Ten of Sticks is moving forward, it's actively putting your best foot forward. But in order to do that, it's being really real, it's being really honest. So we've got these kind of suitcases here, and this is the little dog's kind of worldly goods, the important things that they're needing to have. But these other sticks, they don't fit in the cases anymore. So we're having to really prioritize. It's a time, I think, for prioritizing more than anything. What matters, what's important, what do you maybe need to let go of? And so this might be a time when we're doing a little bit of energetic space clearing or maybe physically space clearing. So maybe we're physically getting rid of stuff that could be physical things, could be people, you know, it could be a host of stuff. Anything that doesn't serve or work for your highest of good, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, sling it out, let it go. So leave the dead wood, leave the crap that doesn't suit, that doesn't work, you know, bring forward the things that are important, the things that you want. And it's choosing to travel a little bit lighter. So I think there's going to just be a bit of an awareness for people as we're moving into April time of maybe need to just pull back from a few things or a few areas and travel light. But that's being really encouraged to do so with this card. And I think there's a real lesson in doing that, because what happens as we're moving into May time, by having that prioritization, we're going into the Ten of Bowls. Ten of Bowls, Ten of Cups. It's a really beautiful time with friends, with family. It's a really abundant time emotionally. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've got everything figured out. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are, you know, rich beyond your wildest dreams, but you're rich in heart center, you're rich in value, you're rich in experiences. The things that are coming in for you at this stage of life are going to mean something. They're going to be really, really important. And it's the real treasures of the earth. I always feel like with the Ten of Bowls or the Ten of Cups, it's almost like it's that stuff that money can't buy. So it's just having beautiful time with friends, family, you know, just people that really show up and really matter for you. So it's probably going to be a time where there's going to be lots of adventures with family. And yeah, it's just having the right people in your life, feeling loved, feeling supported, and having the best of both worlds, having the great stuff working from a sort of job and career space and all of that, but having time with your family, having time with people that you want to actually connect with, that you actually want to see, and just really vibing in that, you know, and really being in that heart chakra energy that comes in quite big with this. Now, as we're moving into June time, June is going to be exciting because we're going into the energy of the star. Stars can't shine without darkness. I say it all the time. So with this one, sometimes maybe we have to go through a little bit of a healing journey. Maybe some of you have felt that at the start of this year. Maybe your healing journey was 2025, because I know for a lot of people it was, you know. But we're moving out of the darkness and we're really finding the light again. And the star is about illumination. And what is lush with this card? It's about you really giving yourself permission to receive, to have, to bring everything into sort of realization and reality. So, you know, we've got this big star in the middle, and that almost represents you, but there's all these other stars shining independently. And I think what's really important with the star card is You can shine your independent light, your own giftings out to the world, and it doesn't have to take away, it doesn't have to compromise what anybody else is doing. You know, you're in competition with nobody. Sometimes the star is just getting to that real realization of, I'm good enough as me. I'm going to give myself permission and acceptance to just grow and flourish as me. So I think that's really showing up in this sort of time period. But it is also about reaching and achieving hopes, dreams, goals, wishes. Anything can be possible when you truly give yourself permission to receive. So it's a time to dream big. And even if you don't get that star, you may get one of the surrounding stars. So go after what truly matters, go after what resonates in your own soul and in your own heart, because you might be really surprised with this time period, you know? Now, then, as we're moving into our July time, we're going into the energy of the lovers. So I always say with the lovers card, I see this in a few ways. The lovers in the first instance for me is always about self-care, self-love. So I think it's making sure that you're instilling the basics. Once that's in place, then sometimes it ripples into other areas. And I always say with the lovers card, depending on what sort of stage of life you're at, determines kind of which part we take from this. So obviously if you're at, so when we get to July time, if you're with a partner, maybe there's just a celebration, maybe there's a kind of an anniversary coming up, or time that you've been together. Maybe it's just making a point of actually having some more connection time with each other, because maybe things have been drifting or feeling a little bit disconnected. So sometimes lovers is just a point of stopping to recognize the connection for what it is and really enjoying that for what it is. I'm going to cough. Sorry about that. Let me have a quick swig of drink. Got excited, didn't I? And I got my own breath. Okay. So if you are single, then that's why I got excited. Because for you guys that are single, which I know some of you have been on such a journey with that, this can be a time when we welcome new love in. But the key thing is we've found the value for ourselves. We've found that self-love. So we're rippling out a different frequency, a different energy line. Because when you have love for self, you can attract and you can bring somebody of that similar wavelength in. But when you're looking for love and you have no love or you have no value for yourself, it's hard work. This is often why people attract these real dickheads, these real assholes, these real toxic people, because they don't have any value for self. They're so quick to bounce into a relationship, they're not doing the inner work. So this is stopping and actually really doing the inner work and really giving yourself permission to receive the best quality of love from you to you, and then it can ripple out around you. So, an interesting one, be aware of this. Now, then, as we're moving into our August time, we're going into the energies of the Magician. I love the Magician card. Magician is about endless possibilities. Everything can happen, everything can materialize, anything is possible. I love the fact with this little dog that he's black and white, you know, he just feels very magical. He looks very mystical. So, Magician, there's balance on the table. All the sort of four suits are there. So, the ball, the stick, the bowl. What's the other one? I can't remember now. The lead. We haven't seen many leads actually. Leads are swords. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any sort of leads in this year's spread. So leads are our swords, whereas like last year there was loads of swords. So that's massive in itself. Magician is always about mind over matter. Anything is possible, anything can become when you give yourself permission to receive. So this is not just about kind of looking at the future. I think this is about stopping to recognize at this stage, on the 8th month of August, what you've actually materialized so far, what's become, and then it's opening up to the next chapter, the next doorway, the next adventures. But the Magician is about being really real, having real magic, real soul, and anything can be possible. So it's always about kind of really mind over matter. So it's also very authentic, very truthful living. So maybe at this stage, some of you are just really sort of feeling the value of you. Maybe some of you are really living a very authentic kind of pathway, very authentic life, and just not accommodating anything lesser or secondary. But the Magician is all about real magic, really showing up for you And yes, there might be some hard work, there might be some effort required, but it's worth it. It's going to pay off because you can have the return of everything you want. All these roses, all these flowers, everything is blossoming, everything is growing, everything is flourishing, everything is becoming, you know. So magician can really create beautiful experiences, but it's mind over matter. If you feel like, oh, I'm not worthy of receiving that, it's not possible, it won't happen. So what makes the magician special and what allows the magician to work is you have to give yourself permission that I'm going to have that intention and it's going to come good, it's going to play out, and I'm going to seize it. I'm going to go for those opportunities, you know? Now, as we're moving into September time, I don't see September as being bad, but we are going into like the strength card. So strength, you might just have a little bit of a brief wobble. You might just have a bit of a brief moment where you're being reminded of your inner strength. Maybe some stuff has happened to you where you're really having to sort of dig deep and go into a level of strength that you weren't really aware was there before. Sometimes we get curveballs that come in our life and it really tests our character, it tests our own personal strength. So maybe that's going to happen. But what's really good with the strength card is it is being able to overcome hurdles, setbacks, changes, challenges, curveballs. So maybe there's a sort of fork in the road, maybe there's a bit of a twist, maybe something comes in that is a little bit unexpected and wasn't really you know, we hadn't really sort of seen it beforehand, but you can overcome these challenges, you can come out on top because strength always can find the way to get out through the other side. So whereas some energies may cave in, they may stop, they may feel defeated, strength can work that little bit deeper on overcoming whatever is testing them or challenging them. It could be something around another person, it could be a personal matter, it could be a health journey, it could be just a situation that plays in, could be it could be anything. There's so many things it could be, big or small. It might just be that you've had to be strong a lot this year, and at this stage as we're moving into our sort of September, that might just be really acknowledged of like, wow, how strong I actually have had to be, you know. So it could be in lots of ways, but it's being able to sort of tame the beast, and she's riding the lion big time here in this card. So there's a real awareness of not being defeated by the beast, but taking back power, taking back control massively. And it's interesting we have that theme with the strength card because as we're moving into October time, we're going into the energies of the death card. Some people fear the death card. There's really no reason to fear it. Now, I always say with the death card, we've got to keep it real. Very rarely does it mean physical death. However, if you know that there is somebody around you that is in real ill health, and perhaps, you know, it's obvious that their time on earth is coming to be, then very occasionally it can be a representation of physical death. Not usually, but very occasionally if you know there's something. So if that is, then see it for what it is. You know, there's a doorway to the spirit world, there's a doorway to the other world, you know, if that is happening. But usually, what happens with death is it's a change of cycle, it's a new beginning. I always see with the death card, it's sort of shoes that don't fit anymore. So we've been maybe sort of forcing our feet into the wrong size pair of shoes, and they're starting to pinch, they're starting to become uncomfortable. Essentially, an aspect of your life perhaps is becoming unsustainable. And so death now has to take a new action. And it's not about thinking if I should do this or should I do this. It's kind of like we have to do this. So death usually encourages us to close off from anything that isn't working. And by doing that, new beginnings can unfold, new magic can happen, and peace prevailing. Everyone forgets that with the death card, its real journey and its real message is about giving you peace in your heart, peace in your soul. So, whatever changes, whatever has to happen here, this is very much about peace prevailing. And I think sometimes that gets really overlooked with the death card, but it's also saying you do have to make some choices, you do have to make some decisions. Action is required with the death card. What's also interesting with it falling on October time, obviously Halloween, so it's the honouring of the dead, you know, Samhain. So it's a time where we really stop and pause and give thanks to our loved ones, to our ancestors. The veil between the two worlds becomes thinner. And it's interesting with that theory because some people sort of say when we talk about the veil that it doesn't exist. And for those that are sensitive and sort of, you know, work on frequency, often you do feel a change. You do definitely feel a crossover of energy. And whether you believe that or not, it's personal preference to you. I absolutely know when I work spiritually, I can feel the build up to the veil becoming thin, and just energy changes, the frequency changes. Yes, our loved ones are with us all the time, but there's a slightly different way that they blend in around us in this time period. I personally believe. You may be watching this video and you may not believe in that at all. You may have a completely different belief system, and that's also okay. But that's my belief with this. But death, change is needed, change is inevitable, change has to happen, but the freedom that you'll gain from it is worth whatever you have to acknowledge here. And I think it could be something amazing because as you're moving into November time, we're going into the Four of Sticks. Four of Sticks in this deck is the equivalent to Four of Wands in conventional tarot. So Four of Sticks, happy house and home, positive change. It could be that maybe there is big movement around your house and home. Maybe this is a time period where some of you are going to be moving, maybe some of you have just moved, and maybe that's what the death card was acknowledging. It could be a change of living arrangement or location or whatever. It could just be that there's a real celebration and a real awareness of getting to a stage of time with the Four of Sticks or Four of Wands where you feel secure, where you feel happy, where home living feels good. So even if you're not moving or not making any changes, maybe it's just a time period where you're really loving your house and home, really vibing in it for what it is. But it is often seen as a time of sort of change or tweaking or just maintenance, you know, but definitely feeling loved, feeling good, feeling fabulous in the space that you find yourself, in the space that you call home, definitely having sacred space. So if that hasn't always felt available, there's going to be some kind of change that allows and offers you that. And finally, as moving into December time, our final card, we're going into the Six of Sticks. We're ending the year on a high. So Six of Sticks, Six of Wands, this is victory, this is success, this is a real celebration. And I feel it's almost like we've really made it through this year. We've really had a fantastic year. We've tried to really harness it and live it to the best of our ability. And, you know, it just feels like it's been a win. It's been a sort of a collective win, but maybe like an independent win. I talked at the beginning of this video about this year being very much the year of the horse. And I love how we end this particular card with the horse. And the horse is dressed in all the finery, really celebrating, really highlighting that win, that victory of whatever we've been through. We may have still had some challenges, some life lessons, some things to understand, but we've come out victorious. We've come out of the darkness into the light, because this Six of Wands is recognizing you may have been through a very personal battle, but it doesn't define you. You came out on top, you came out a winner, and that's really wanting to be recognized with the end of this year. So, an interesting journey. I think it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster, but it feels lighter, brighter. I love the fact that there's no swords, because that to me is quite important as a tarot reader. There's primarily a lot of wands, and a few bowls and a few pentacles, but actually probably wands or sticks in this deck are the most seen. And so wands represent the magic, the practical changes, the harnessing of stuff. So yeah, it definitely feels exciting. So let's conclude with a cheeky witch's rune for 2026 and just see if there's an overall, I'm just going to say with this rune, like an overall theme throughout the year that we need to be aware of. So what's the overall theme here? Okay, so we've got the rune of waves. Waves is emotions, essentially, and sort of waves ripple. So maybe there are going to be times when things are a bit rough and bumpy, but then they will calm, they will settle. Rough waters never last forever. And, you know, when something is in its roughest point, yes, it's aggressive, yes, it's scary, yes, it's uncomfortable, but there also will have to be a change. There will have to be a time of settlement where things become calmer, they become more still. So maybe it is going to be still a bit of a journey for us at times. But yeah, I think emotionally we're being really seen, we're being really held this year as well. Pretty sure that was a little orb just shoot down then. So I think that's interesting. That's interesting. So I hope it makes sense. I'm going to leave this video with you. Keep shining bright. Thank you so much if you showed up for me personally in 2025. And if you're planning to show up for me in 2026, I'm looking forward to connecting with you and working with you or seeing you in whatever weird and wonderful way our paths cross. So have a cool one. Look after yourselves. Much love. Bye for now.